Wars are not won by soldiers. They are won by whoever controls debt. Most people think debt is a weakness, a burden, a mistake. But at some point in history, debt stopped being a problem and became a weapon, not a metaphor, a real strategic tool. Empires didn't just borrow money to survive. They learned how to use debt to control others without firing a single shot. This is the story of when debt stopped being a consequence of war and became the method. For most of history, debt was dangerous. Rulers who borrowed too much lost their crowns. Governments that couldn't pay collapsed quickly. There were limits. Gold ran out. Silver ran out. Power depended on what you physically owned. Armies marched as long as the treasury lasted. When the money ended, so did the war. Debt existed, but it controlled rulers, not their enemies. That would change. The turning point wasn't a war. It was a system. Governments discovered something revolutionary. They didn't need to repay debt. They only needed to service it, roll it over, extend it, delay it. Once debt became permanent, it stopped being a liability. It became infrastructure. Governments no longer asked how to pay it back. They asked how to make it sustainable forever. Wars became too expensive for rulers to fund alone. So governments partnered with banks, not just as lenders, but as architects of power. Banks didn't need land. They didn't need flags. They needed governments that never defaulted and conflicts that never truly ended. Debt linked private capital to public survival. As long as governments survived, the debt survived. This is where debt became a weapon. A country in debt is predictable. A country dependent on refinancing is controllable. Miss one payment and pressure begins. Debt didn't need to destroy nations. It only needed to shape decisions, budgets, alliances, foreign policy, control without occupation. By the 20th century, conquest changed form. Why invade when you can lend? Why occupy when you can restructure? Debt allowed influence without responsibility. No soldiers, no rebuilding, no administration, just conditions and compliance. Debt works because it doesn't feel like violence. There are no explosions, no headlines, just spreadsheets and deadlines. But debt changes behavior faster than bombs. Governments begin planning around creditors, not citizens. Policy becomes risk management. Sovereignty becomes conditional. Debt is not about the past. It is about the future. Whoever controls future income controls present decisions. When future budgets are already promised, today's democracy becomes procedural. Elections change faces. Debt preserves direction. Empires no longer need borders. They need balance sheets. Influence flows through interest rates, not armies. Economic pressure replaced military presence. It is harder to resist because it feels voluntary. Debt is always presented as neutral. Numbers, contracts, agreements. But neutrality disappears when repayment requires sacrifice. Cuts, austerity, lost decades. Debt does not care about outcomes, only continuity. History shows that escape is possible, but never painless. Default is not the end, but it breaks trust, and trust is the real currency of power. Every exit has consequences. The question is who pays them. Debt did not replace war. It made war quieter. Armies take land. Debt takes time. And whoever controls time controls the future.